What the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? God damn it, I need to get back on my reviews. When I was a wee lad, I was, very different on my opinion on turn-based RPGs. When I was a kid, I didn't like them. Well, that was because of a really bad experience with Final Fantasy 1, which, fun fact, I got stuck on that game for about a year before actually learning how the fuck to actually progress. I'm being serious here. So I was pretty much over level for a lot of the game. In any case, because of that experience, it kind of blanketed my view on turn-based RPGs. And ironically enough, I bought this game because I thought it was an action game. You know, where you can go like, yeah, punch him! But no, that was not this game in any sense of the word. In fact, it was the opposite. It was turn-based to its core. In fact, it was the progenitor of turn-based combat, the series known as Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a really popular series, like, holy shit popular. No, I mean that in Japan because holy shit. They actually had to make Saturday their only day of ever releasing a new Dragon Quest game because if they released it on any other day, politicians, salespeople, students, everyone would leave class just to get it. That is not even a joke. That's some fun trivia for you. So, before I begin, though I do need to state this, I really do want you all to play this. My reviews are usually very spoiler heavy, so I recommend you either play it before watching this, or if you don't care, just watch it. But I really, by the end of it all, I want you to know I really love this series. Sure, I am nitpicking on some things, but I really do love it, and I just want to talk about my love of this series in a more methodical manner. So, let's begin with Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Sky. We begin the game off with a character customization done in the style of Akira Toriyama because he's popular, of course. I'm not saying that it's bad, it's just not my particular cup of tea, but it's still good regardless. As I made a Super Saiyan because yes, I am that lazy. We then get this monologue from a character talking about how they feel left behind. Deep. I mean, so deep, bruh. After that monologue, we get a sweeping shot of the city, and we're seeing something strange here. You see, the game, for whatever reason, decided to use 3D models and 2D sprites for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but I believe this sort of works, and having the 3D sprites being the more important characters allows us to know who to go to whenever we're lost. So, if you get a problem, try to find them. They're easier to find than you think. We then get told by our master that it is our job to watch over them, as he uses his eagle vision? I don't know even what the hell to call it. As he sees two travelers walking down the road as they are almost besieged by... My God! Behold the true face of evil! For they will destroy your soul! Okay, real talk here. This thing ain't scary. Like, this is kind of like my biggest problem in general with this series. This series has so many cutesy designs for most monsters that I really can't take it seriously. And it's not like, oh my god, run! We soon fight the monsters, and after that, oh yeah, just mentioning right now, they can't see us, but we're able to see them and other things in a moment I'll explain. And they offer benevolence to us, though not intentionally. As we head back to the observatory and we are told to give this to Yggdrasil, which is our job, which is basically watch over people, get benevolent, give it to Yggdrasil, until the promised day. When that day is, it's actually coming soon, so let's keep an eye on that. We then head back down to the town to learn about other mechanics like picking up stuff, learning how to do side quests, which basically, like, I'll talk about later, but just noting, and that you can talk to goats. Because, you know, you're an angel, so, yeah. After collecting enough benevolency, you head back to the tower. Once you offer it, it actually bears fruit, figs to be in particular. But then all of a sudden, BAM! Dark, fiery towers of death and massive destruction hits the tower. For some reason. Just now all of a sudden, just saying. And we are falling off the observatory for... some reason, I'm not entirely sure. They never really explain it, as do the figs. and thus begins our journey. After crashing, we are helped and recovered by the nice traveler we met on the road, who trusts us enough, though everyone in the town treats us like assholes for some reason, even though we fell from the fucking sky. I'm just saying, but whatever. Okay, you see this guy? He's an asshole. And this asshole wants us to come with him to go to this ravine, which is the entrance point between this town and another town called Stoneway. So we decide, yeah, we might as well. So we just do it. I'm going to hold off talking about the combat because we haven't got everything yet. So hold your horses. Ironically enough, not this horse, but I'll get to him soon enough. So after a bit of grinding and gearing up, we basically walk over there and we find the celestial train. Oh, I never talked about that. Yeah, don't worry about it later. I'll talk about it later. Though I will mention now that this idiot thinks there's nothing there, even though he's standing on it. I know that sounds stupid, but come on. When the hell am I ever gonna make that joke? But whatever. We soon learned that it was already getting cleaned up by the Stowaway soldiers, and they tell us to look for a girl named Patty, who went through a dangerous dungeon for some reason. I'm not entirely sure, except for stupidity. That's always a good reason. So we go into the dungeon, find a ghost, he helps us get through, we defeat the boss, get her back. If you have started to notice now, it's just that this plot is a little longer than it should really need to be, but I can let it slide because it's the beginning and setup is important in my opinion. Though at that same time, this setup seems needless at that same level, but tutorial area. So now, why the hell did Patty want to go to Angel Falls, the place we were? Well, that's because that's where Erina, the girl who took us in, lived. Because she's the daughter of the innkeeper who ran Stoneway and was well renowned. So, yeah, just thought she would just go up to her and just let her take the job. I guess that's also part of her dream as well for some reason, but whatever, it's done well and we get a nice touch around, whatever. It's so nice. Luckily, on our way, we noticed that someone was messing with the train, that being Stella. The oddest character in the entire series, bar none. Okay, the thing that she baffles me by is that, what is her purpose? Like, I know she serves a purpose in normal means of, like, helping us get like the bestiary and all that whatnot. But I mean in story, like what is her reason for existing? I read up and said that she's the steward of the train, but that doesn't mean anything to me. And really, why the hell would the Almighty actually make it? So I'm just like, eh. She decides that joining up with us would be the best way of getting back to the observatory. So we need to find benevolence to fuel up the train, and yes, I don't know how that works. They really never explain how it works either, so don't worry about it. So we go to Stoneway to try to gather enough benevolence. And there are a bunch of good stories here, like helping up people from a night from a long forgotten time, or a monster curse who is killing people and taking lives too soon. These stories are very well done, and they tell a really good story, since they have, well, the basics down. A good story first, deeper meanings later. They do tie to the main theme of the story, I think, though I am not one to talk about it, and I hate to admit it, but CQ Positive did a great video on it. Not to say that he isn't good, just so you know, it's just that I wish I could have done better on myself to did better, but not my place. So let's actually go back a bit. Remember that bar Patty wanted Erina to run? Well, it actually has a dual purpose. It allows you to actually recruit others to your party. So that means you can go off adventuring with a squad of friends. And those being for me was Ven, the priest, to heal up the squad up nicely. Cubby, the mage, to blast fools away and all of them to death, to the hereafter. And Cal, the black dynamite of the group, who will destroy a sucker. Boom! These roles are basically my friends from a long time ago, and still now, though they'll generally fill a role except me because I'm a minstrel and that role is, whatever. Since, seriously, most times than not, you'll focus on something, and because of that, the skill system is a bit strange. Okay, the skill system, or the skill point system, depending on however you want to pronounce it, I don't care either way, I'll do either, so don't get confused. So, how do you gain them? Well, you get them through leveling up. Randomly, I'm not entirely sure. You don't gain any at first, and only later on do you get them at some sort of pace, though it is never properly explained. I'm like, okay, whatever. Though that also makes some jobs really dead on arrival, like the thief class. Let's actually begin talking about the combat. Well, it's a turn-based RPG. I really don't need to explain that much since, again, it's a turn-based RPG. So I'll just go over the basics. This turn-based RPG, basically, you know how it goes. You got certain command slots like fight, tactics, what your teammates can do, but I'd rather never put them on anything other than follow my commands. Attributes, which basically affect what you got, what your opponent's got, whatever. Escape, and then you got your character. Each character has their own abilities, which are tied to whichever class you chose, and spells, which are again tied to whatever class you got. So basically, it's all about planning out what moves is going to be effective on destroying the opponent in the fastest amount of turns possible. Thus meaning you're kind of trying to, win fast without losing enough resources. And that's the game in a nutshell. Yeah, I know, the combat's really simple, but that's what actually gives it a lot of value. Because it's so simple, any death you can make is actually exuberated from the combat. Thus meaning, everything's fun and challenging because you gotta think on the fly. You gotta think, is this move gonna win? If I use this move, what move am I gonna use to counter that move? Because the opponent will most likely use that move, or most likely not. It's an unknown. It's planning ahead while also planning behind, if that makes sense. And I love it. So here's some combat advice so that if you ever play this, you'll know what to do. Or at least something I always recommend people do. 1. If you're going for a monk or having one in your team, piece of advice, go fisticuffs. They can learn the move multi-fist, which breaks. And I just mean break foe. Basically hit your opponent with a few zaps, use your Aegon skill on them, which is a skill you have exclusively. And sometimes they can pull a massive amount of damage. Like if they're at their max, at maximum all stats, lowering your opponent, boosting up your own teammate's stat. Yeah, they can deal over 1,000 points of damage easily, and it's very helpful. Though depending on the enemy you're facing, they could do a little more, who knows. Though I recommend this only for bosses. If you're going for a more mage build heavy group, then put them in the back row, so they're most likely not gonna get hit, and thus meaning they can still use their magic effectively. Unless you did what I did and make my cleric more physical, fighting, healing up group member, so yeah, just really, again, this game really does customize to whatever you want, as long as you're willing to put in the time to make it like that. You're going to be grinding a lot, just period that as well, because like, here's the thing. Some games make getting XP hard, like the SMT series or other series, I'm not sure, add some here. Some, like this game, makes it harder to earn money so you can gain gear. Though XP is not easy to get either, but you're not worrying about that too much, because gear matters in this game a lot. You might then be wondering, why don't I just alchemize something, which alchemy is a thing in this series, but I rarely ever use it, mostly only due to because I'm not one of those guys who likes it. It's just something I'm not into. So yeah, if you want my personal opinion on it, really don't have any. And for the last thing, let's talk about grottoes. Oh joy. Okay, grottoes can be like this cool, neat thing if you're a fan of the series or something else. But for me, they are the bane of my existence. Because you see, here's the thing. You can get one early on, though I couldn't remember where the hell I could find it. I'm at near Stornoway, and I was like, wow! A cool map that leads into a secret dungeon! Awesome! And I was going in like, la-di-da-doo, la-di-da-dee, and then BAM! This motherfucker! You see, I was referencing him in a minute, and I told you I would go back to him. This guy? Fuck this guy. I tried to battle this guy so many goddamn times, but he kept winning. Ha! And this is where all the super bosses are, so if you ever want to find them, go find the grottos. So, yeah. So, alright, cool. We're all done with the combat now. So, let's go over with the plot again, since it's actually starting to kick up now. So after doing all the tasks of getting enough benevolence to get on the train so he can actually get us back to the observatory, the Grandmaster, this guy here, tasked us of returning the figs since we're the only ones who can actually go into the mortal world and actually, retrieve them. Because I forgot to mention that during our fall, we actually lost our halo and celestial rings, thus meaning we are seeable now. So we do that. And this is where the game starts to be a little more freeform, where you can actually get most of the figs in any order you want, barring only one of them. No, actually 2 of them. Since, you need these things. If you don't, the game will not let you progress. Though, let me tell you one thing. One of these are very missable. So missable, in fact, that every time I play this game, I miss it. And that's a lot, by the way. That being Zur's Rock. Or Zurrock? Or how the hell do you pronounce this? Like, you would say Zur because the guy's name is not Zur, but then again, it's a location which you don't use the comma, but goddammit, just fuck it. Okay, whatever. Okay, so what is this? It's a town that's only memorable is that it's a replica town of a town that you were before. Yeah, and the reason why he made it was because he wanted to impress his old girlfriend who left him because he was just not there for like 10 years. Yeah, these stories are a bit weird and can get a little weird. I know that sounds odd, but they're also good and mature enough. And I really do like them. Though I will say this, CQ Positive made a great video about these game themes again. Like, I really do want to tell you, go watch that. Though, I am confused on why everyone keeps on doing this weird thing where they basically are using the figs as analogies for the 7 deadly sins, even though most of them don't even fit on that, like, at all. Like, for example, the Leviathan. That one has the problem of the town becoming very slothful and not really, doing their own thing. But then also has greed in it because the mayor is just getting greedy now where he just wants them to get gold and stuff. And I know this sounds like a small issue, but let's continue on. What is, like, the dolls thing? Like, I know I'm not mentioning the town because most times than not I can't remember the towns for shit. But my point still stands. What sin is that? It can't be vanity because, or lust. Well, technically it could be because lust can actually be construed as looking for companionship. Which then again, I'm sorry. It's just, when you're trying to look into things, you're kind of trying to look hard into these and seeing that they're very short or very shallow. And these aren't. Like, again, I can let go of the theme stuff because the stories are still good regardless of having those. So, it doesn't really matter. I just don't really see how these are there to begin with. Though, I should talk about one more thing that I kinda did forget during my original playthrough of the game, which this is mostly what it's based on, though I did play this game again. That being the All Trades Abbey. You see, I missed this area because I forgot what to do here, and I just kinda forgot. Because I didn't do the party trick to progress it. Yeah, you could do those here, and they really serve no purpose, only just exist. But you might be then wondering, why would I not do it? Well, you see, here's the thing. Again, forgot. But also, I just literally ran past it, mostly. And that caused a problem. You see, that's where you can change your vocation. Yeah, thus meaning I couldn't change my vocation till about 3/4 into the game. Yeah, that was exciting. And yes, this really did affect my playthrough. Though I will also tell you that I did not unlock any other vocations because they are bullshit. Yeah, there are more vocations in the game that the game doesn't give you automatically because my guess is fuck you, that's why. Okay, so let's talk about how do you get one. Okay, let's go for the armamentalist, or this group. And this fucker. He has, by far, one of the hardest requirements. And this is it. Let's just get it down. Okay, you need a wizard. Okay, cool. To use Wizard Ward on themselves. Okay, seems simple enough. But oh wait, here's the bullshit part. You see, you need to use that same wizard to land a finishing blow on a metal slime. No. Sorry. 3 of them. Because go fuck yourself. For those who don't know, metal slimes have the highest defense in the game, and wizards have the lowest in attack, and no, magic doesn't hurt them. Yeah, and mind you, this is the sole reason why I don't bother with the other tasks like other quests, which I haven't mentioned yet because quests can be given to the player when a character has a blue bubble above them, thus meaning they can give you a quest. But the problem is, some of these are incompletable. They are literally uncompletable until you reach a later area, or you have the sufficient items, which you'll most likely not have. And hell, I would have been fine with this if the quest limit was not 10. And by the point you're already where you're at all traits Abbey, you'll most likely pass that. So yeah, thus meaning, and even the rewards of them are not even worth it. I'm sorry, but I don't want you to think that this is bad. It's very flawed if anything, but some are good. And I did forget to do some, my bad. So let's get positive here, and let's talk about the music, cause it's damn awesome. Sure, it's mini-tune, which, I have never talked about that. Basically, that's synthetic music that's basically playing like the keys of a note and interpreting that sheet of music with an instrument. So if that's all you need to know, so there you go. But regardless, it's a great watch to hear, or it's just awesome. Overture, the battle theme, just literally everything in the soundtrack is awesome. I usually listen to this while I make these videos, and it's really damn good. Though I won't go over all of the fixed stories, I will go over my favorite one, that one being the Plains area, where basically that one was where basically the cowardly son of the chief is basically plotting against the priest because she's a monster in disguise, and basically it was a really good coming of age story, which was really handled very well, while also being the story about being strong in the face of a lot of things. I mean, it's still really well. Again, like I repeating myself here, I'd rather the story be good first than having any thematical depth to it, than it having a lot of layers and not being good at all to begin with. So yeah, if you want to know what the other fixed stories are, I recommend you just play it yourself since it's that good to begin with. So yeah, let's just skip forward a bit. So after collecting them all, you get back to the train and all of a sudden Aquila's there, your master, just so you know, because he hasn't been anywhere near this plot in a while. As I'm confused as he then orders us to give him the figs, as I wonder how the hell does the rank system work? Okay, I didn't mention this earlier, but you see, Celestians cannot disobey order from someone higher up than them. Basically, it doesn't matter. You have to follow their orders. I'm confused by this only by the sake of my orders are that Grandmaster told me that I need to bring them back to him, and Aquila tells us to give it to him so he can give it to him. And I'm wondering, how the hell does this work, since the master would cancel out his order by default of rank? So what would happen if 2 higher rank officers tell you to do the opposite thing? What would happen? I'm sorry, tangent over now, as he then tries to kill us after we give it to him. As I'm even more confused that this makes no sense later, as we get shot out of the air by a dark dragon who's being ridden by an owl man. Well, that's neato. In any case, we find a village that we landed on that hates foreigners. No, not the band, as in people. Bah, bloody hell. In any case, we meet this girl who's actually been appearing every so often in the story, but just walks away as she talks about her lover, who's a Celestian and is looking for him. Don't worry, it's important later. I know, it sounds so odd, but it comes out of nowhere. So after traveling over a bridge of light and curing the town of its xenophobia, just like that, somehow, you go to a town that has a fucking dragon in it no, it's not that one. The one who used to be by the ancient warriors, who was important some lost years ago, but basically defeated an army that wasn't mentioned earlier throughout the story, though rarely, and is now important as they invade the town after the dragon in town told us to bugger off due to us smelling funny, and I was like, what the hell, man? But I'll forgive, he looks cool. So after defeating some of the undead, because of course it's an ancient empire, so they're gonna do something weird. Okay, I need to actually mention something I did stupidly. Okay, before all this happened where I go to the town, I did something stupid. Like, really stupid. Okay. Remember that vocation thing? I didn't change my class for a while until I got to that town of the xenophobes. Why, you ask? Just because. And oh boy. That actually caused me some problem because I then needed to grind him up back to everyone else's level since I didn't change their levels. And so I'll make a point about why that matters now. Just so you know, I'm setting it up right here. So in any case, the dragon tells us to ride on him wearing the armor as we get a cool cutscene. Because they don't want to show us, because of course. As the dragon gets shot down, as we also fall down, as Stella just fucks off. I'm serious. She just leaves for no reason. Even though it makes no sense, she just leaves. I don't know. They never explain. Because of that, the game makes no reason at all. So yeah, after we fall, we get captured by the Giddish army. Or the Empire, or I don't care. As they took my gear. God damn it, dude, that took so much time and effort to get. As they're basically a bunch of assholes you slay. Though I would wonder why they don't just use zombies since they're more stronger, and I'm just saying. As we actually meet the train conductor, and he's beefed up as hell, man. As we soon plan a rebellion because before the dragon actually died, he gave us a mark so we could, I don't know. But it was the thing we needed to travel over the barriers that actually causing everyone not to leave. I don't know how we kept it, but whatever, magic man, come on. Don't worry about it. But that won't help anything if the warden's still around, and okay, let's talk about this. Okay, you can take the barrier down and leave to get your teammates back because you actually had to leave your teammates behind before the dragon ride because reasons. So yeah, I had fought the boss on my own. How the hell did I survive? A lot of grinding. A lot of grinding. When I was originally there, I was at level 20. When I left, I was level 45. Mind you, my teammates were at level 40. Just so you know. And yes, I had no reason to do so. And yes, I am better a bit. Though I can say at least it is a great gaming story to tell. So okay, we returned back to the observatory with some Celestians because they were held captured there, as we are now able to travel to the realm of the Almighty, as it's empty and no one's there. And actually it kind of looks like somebody wrecked the place. I'm not sure why, but they explained that he disappeared. Though it's never explained, as the tree warps us back to her, as we kind of get her backstory now, that hardly matters now to the plot at all at this point. So, okay, remember that weird dialogue at the beginning? Well, that was kind of odd, but it was mostly said to humans, thus the Almighty Maker just basically said, fuck humanity, and the goddess was like, humanity can change, and the Maker was like, no way. And she's like, yes way, and I'll prove it by becoming a tree and defending them. And when offered enough benevolence, she'll wake up, as he laments that it won't happen. They'll just make some Celestians to watch over her and collect them. Yeah, proved him wrong. I kind of wish we actually got more of this, though I'm just one of those people who like world building a lot. That's just me. So let's actually talk about the game plot for a moment here. I have mentioned that the game's story are very one and done. They're very something like, they're not going to pass over to the next plot point and keep building to an epic climactic point. But that's not the point at all. Because I think it's just more important for world building, as it actually makes us want to save the world than rather than just needing to and just being like, ugh. Because remember something, even these things help because you're having a good time, right? And just feel bad about it. So yeah, after all the expedition, we go back to the Darklands where basically the Giddish Empire's castle is. As we go inside and fight the Tiger General and fight the Owl guy, as we get a shocking twist that we learn that our master didn't betray us. It was in fact a ploy so that he could get closer to the Emperor and backstab, but was unable to due to because he was weak and couldn't really do it. So we go in and kill him, though he does a suicide move and tries to take us down with him, but Aquila takes the shot for us because he wants to apologize in some regard and tells us to free everyone, including his master. As we go down and we find one of them really chained up, as we learn that this guy's the main villain. Yeah. So remember that Celestian that Ghost Woman was looking for? Yeah, he was the cause of all of this. Wait, what? I'm just saying, it's quite odd, as it seems like this guy could not have been this powerful. But then again, I think he was fighting, like, a lot of enemies, so I think he's over-leveled, and maybe dark magic, who knows. And thus the game creates a final boss. I kind of want to use this moment to air out a certain problem I've had with the series. That being, the reveal secret actual villain! Like, remember when Dragon Quest VIII had Dolmagus? And then we learned out, and oh my god, the true evil was Ratform? Like, in all honesty here, I hated that because it just removed the threat of Dolmagus. As it just made us seem like we were going on a wild goose chase, if anything. That's just me. And this series does this a lot, and when I get to 11, I'm gonna talk about it more. As we can't hit him. Because he still outranks us. As I must ask the simple question of, why can't the Grandmaster allow me to outrank him, or hell, even the goddess herself, so I can fight him, rather than forced to become human? Yeah, that actually happens, and yes, it's kind of stupid, though I can say it fits the idea of what the Celestians do. They're basically protectors, and would die for protecting others. You know what I mean? And they actually, like, understand the idea of the needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few, as the few represent the self and not somebody else. Seriously, the version of where the few means actual people, like, no, that's not what he meant at all, because the few usually represents the self. Seriously. I'm just saying. So, in any case, after a bit, we fight him, we win, and his love comes to him and sings everything to him, and instant forgiveness as they fly away to the next world. Then I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, peace is restored to the world, as in, though monsters still exist, there's no Roman stuff, but here's the thing. It's still fine. The world was already fine enough as is, though I just think, like, maybe they could have done something about it. So, okay, let's actually talk about something here right now. You see, there's actually some post-game. Yeah, the game never tells you this, that being, you can actually return to being a full-fledged Celestian again, which is kind of awesome. But it is a long task that I never did because it really requires me to alchemize a lot of things. Like, holy shit, I just realized I would just not do it, just for the sake of it, because I don't like doing alchemy in games at all. But, you know, it's still good. And hell, you can actually make some really powerful gear early on. So, yeah. So that was Dragon Quest IX, one of my favorite games of all time. What were my objectives? Or my thoughts on this? It's so great. Hell, even without all the multiplayer aspect, and holy shit, I forgot all the multiplayer aspects. Okay, I didn't talk about the multiplayer aspects, mostly due to because they're dead. No one can use them much. I mean, you can do just the Nintendo infrared stuff, but no, you're just not using that anymore. And even then, it's not important, but it's still good regardless. So, go play it. I don't care how you play it. Hell, I've been hearing rumors that they're going to make a remake of it soon for the Switch. So, yeah. So, let me just say this. This game may not be special now, but it still means a lot to me. I mean, like, it's a great game, regardless of what you want to think. And I really do want you to think it's a good game. And I hope I at least made some people really want to play it. But that's just me. See y'all next time. I thought I'd start the new year off with a good game review. And then next time I'm gonna do another review of a shit game. Yes, I actually do think that game sucks. Till next time.